Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Wrath of the Righteous with me, Reggaeton. Let's step outside, speak to a couple folks, and proceed towards Wffs Quest. This place has been sanctified. It can protect the area around it from the corruption of the Abyss. So going forward, whenever we rest outside of a safe area, we'll start generating abyssal corruption. You can counteract it a little bit by assigning companions to the protective ritual section in the camp menu, but you can't stop it completely. And once you corrupt it, it provides a few debuffs. I think the first tier, because there's 3 tiers to it. Prevents you from charging, and grants a 15% spell failure chance. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it will trigger at the most inopportune times.
We do it my way.
Commander, look what we've got here. Are you too mad? Never possess you to steal the gem golem from the Tower of Estrad Museum. Explain yourselves. That's going by a little too fast for me to keep up. We'll read it in the chat log after. But the Abyssal Corruption, you can dispel it by resting in a safe area, and some dungeons have relics you can find that will also dispel the corruption for the more lengthy dungeons. So you don't soft lock yourself behind Abyssal Corruption. It's actually pretty easy to avoid.
Follow if you dare.
Alright, we have the Prestidigipator Golem. The magnificent and glittering golem, encrusted with gems and covered in intricate, flowery embossing, triumphantly exclaims, "Happy to be of service. May Shaylin brighten and vivify your day." What are you? I am a Prestidigipator Golem. Many millennia ago, I was built by Aslanti clerics of Shaylin, the goddess of beauty, to make the world a better place. In my joyful service, I have visited many lands, and for the past few centuries, I've resided at the Temple of the Sunrise Chrysanthemums in Tianjia. But then the good cleric saw fit to offer me as a gift to the Mendevian Crusaders, so you could share in the beauty I can create. Can you do anything useful? My creators granted me the ability to place illusions on various items. I can change their color and texture to make them more beautiful and appealing to the eye. Would you like me to cast an illusion over your armor to make it green? Green is a very pleasant color, and it would match your eyes. How did you end up here? I was in the Tower of Estrad Museum, but then some not beautiful people came and started smashing everything. I asked them to show restraint, and that's when they decided to steal me. After all, I am beautiful and very valuable. They dragged me down the street, but I didn't want to go with them, so I kept stopping. The least beautiful of my kidnappers threw me over his shoulder and tried to run away with me, but I am very heavy, so his back made a very not beautiful crunching sound. He started yelling, and then everyone else started yelling, and some of that yelling was directed at me. And then they started hitting me with their not beautiful weapons. And then some good crusaders drove them away and brought me here. And now I've been lumbered with you. Waste of good metal you are. And instead of working, I'm supposed to keep an eye on you so no one is tempted by the walking treasure trove. But what can you do to help the war effort? I was not designed for any type of combat, yet I can bring beauty and harmony to any type of combat. I wanted to cast an illusion on my gear. Happy to be of service. So he's just a transmog mechanic, so we can make our equipment look like any other equipment. Happy to be of service, and may Shaylin brighten and vivify your day. I did forget to go and read this other dialogue. Alright, Commander, look what we've got here. Are you too mad? Whatever possessed you to steal the gem golem from the Tower of Estrad Museum? Explain yourselves. We didn't steal nothing, Commander. We saw some looters dragging it down the street and recaptured it. Now the shiny fella is our trophy by rights. That shiny fella belongs to the treasury, The inlay alone is worth more than a castle. Well, I really don't like the idea of leaving this thing unattended. Joran, see to it that no one lays so much as a finger on this golem, or plucks out a single gem. And the same goes for you two. Your new mission is to guard this shiny fella, as you called it.
I'm off. I do what I must. I'm gone.
Alright, we can talk to Joran Bain. A grizzled dwarf turns a blade in his calloused hands, carefully inspecting its edge. When he sees you approaching, he sets the blade aside and greets you with a nod. A new face in the city. You picked a good time to come to Canabas. As you can see, we're in sore need of warriors. Show me your wares. So he sells a handful of unique items. I don't think he has a bag of holding. So I'm going to go through and read the effects for all the unique items he sells. Smasher. Whenever this +2 necrotic Earthbreaker confirms a critical hit on an enemy, the enemy must pass a Fortitude saving throw DC 16, or suffer 2 strength ability damage. I don't think there's any unique Earthbreakers you can find as loot or on enemies. I'm pretty sure they're all sold by merchants. It's going to be a little while before we can afford this one. Attrition Dagger. Once a round, when this +1 dagger lands a hit on an enemy, it deals them 1 Constitution ability damage. This power can't lower the target's Constitution ability score below 5. Detainer. Whenever this +2 heavy crossbow lands a hit, the target must pass a Fortitude saving throw DC 16, or be knocked back 15 feet and become slowed down for 1 round. Merry-Go-Round. Whenever this +1 heavy flail misses an attack, the next attack it would or makes, no matter if it hits or misses, deals additional 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Pain Channeler. This +1 Falcata grants its wearer a +2 bonus on attack rolls for all touch attacks. It gives me an idea. A Butcher of Undead. This +1 Great Club grants its wielder a +1 bonus on attack rolls against undead creatures. That's actually pretty good in the early game. Both Act 1 and 2 have a lot of undead to fight. Roaring Hand Axe. This +1 hand axe deals an additional +1 sonic damage on a hit. Silverhawk. Whenever this +1 light crossbow confirms a critical hit, it deals 2d4 force damage to all enemies in a 10-foot radius. A Light Hammer of Righteousness. This +1 light hammer deals an additional +1 holy damage on a hit. A Light Mace of Severe Strike. Whenever this +1 light mace confirms a critical hit, it deals additional 1d8 damage. Acrid Sickle. This +1 sickle deals an additional 1d3 acid damage on a hit. So these weapons that have critical hit requirements that add bonus damage, they're a bit overkill in the early game. Most enemies can't take more than maybe 2 or 3 hits anyway, and if you're doing a critical hit, it's probably going to one-shot them, so that extra damage kind of goes to waste. With a few exceptions. There's a couple, not quite mini bosses, but elite enemies that might justify buying that. Alright, there should be a spear here as well. There it is. Devastating Blow from Above. Whenever the wielder of this +1 long spear lands a hit while mounted, it deals additional 1d4 piercing damage. Alright, and unique armors. A Deceiving Facade. Whenever the wielder of this +1 buckler receives a critical hit, they're affected with the effect of a mirror image spell that produces 2 mirror images that last 2 rounds. I don't think that's very good. Armor Vigilance. Excuse me. This +1 leather armor grants the wearer a +4 bonus to armor classing and sneak attacks. That's actually pretty good in the early game. You fight a bunch of babaus that have sneak attacks. And Living Ram. Whenever the wearer of this +1 breastplate uses the charged combat maneuver and hits an enemy, they deal additional 1d6 bludgeoning damage, and the enemy has to pass a reflex saving throw DC 17 or become prone. So Living Ram paired with a devastating blow from above makes mounted builds very powerful in the early game. I mean, they're already really strong, but those 2 items really put it over the edge. A Rugged Helmet. This helmet grants the wearer DR3 except for melee, but the wearer suffers a -3 penalty to perception skill checks. And that's it. Hello, hello. What can I do for you? You know everyone in Canabas by sight, because when we first talked to him, he said we're a new face. Well, not everyone, but I make it my business to know the people who might need my services. A blacksmith's work isn't just at the anvil, you know. Are you Staunton Vane's brother? Yep. Where he goes, I go. That's how we've always done it, even before the world wound. I forge the armor, he goes into battle and breaks it. He brings it back to me. I repair it and make it better than before. Everything's changed since then, of course. That part stayed the same. How is Staunton to blame for the fall of Dresden? I've told this story so many times already, but telling it one more time won't kill me. The blacksmith sighs. Dresden was built after the First Crusade, back when it seemed like victory was ours for the taking, and that the demon invasion would soon be at an end. The population of Ulzar Kors was thoroughly diminished, and many of them hoped to see their hard fighting repaid with a small plot of unclaimed land. Dresden was a fortress built on all our hopes, and on Mendev's ambitions. They're not supposed to say that out loud. What a city it was, Donald. You can't even imagine. It was built by the finest engineers from the 5 Kings Mountains. Queen Galfrey spared no expense. Dresden was meant to be the capital of the Crusade movement, a monument to its glory, and a beacon of hope for all of Galarian. Heroes were drawn there to seek fame and glory. They came from all over. Haldor, Garund, Tianjia. I couldn't list them all. A relic known as the Sword of Valor was kept there, the banner that had been carried into battle by Amadei herself, back when she was still human. That banner protected the city, and kept the demons from teleporting inside its walls. As long as the banner was in its place, Dresden was invincible, or so we thought. But then the world wound suddenly expanded. The demons launched a new onslaught, and folks started saying it was time to declare the Second Crusade. Dresden was unassailable, until one young officer was tempted by a beautiful woman. She convinced him that the banner shouldn't be hanging in the city, that its rightful place was on the battlefield. She whispered honeyed words about glory and valor, and convinced him that he could be a hero as great as Amadei herself. And the poor fool believed her. He rounded up some of his hot-headed friends, and carried the banner outside the city gates on an unauthorized foray. The demons slaughtered them within seconds, but for some reason, the courageous ringleader was spared. The whole army teleported into Dresden. It was a bloodbath. Jorn solemnly shakes his head. As you can guess, that officer was called Staunton Vane, and the woman turned out to be a demon. Not just any demon. It was Monago, that foul wretch. He's given us a lot of grief here in Canabas too. Just don't ask me what I was doing while my brother was off having tryst with that beast, and why I didn't save him from his own stupidity. The blacksmith gestures as if to ward off the inevitable reprobation. Who could have guessed it would end like this? I failed my brother, that's the truth. I blame myself every day, looking at his plight. So that's the story. Why do you have your forge here, in the tavern yard? Wherever I am, that's where my forge is. A true master of any craft will always find the tools they need. I miss my old forge, of course. It's now just a pile of charred stone and metal. But I've still got my hands. That means I can work. Show radiance to Joran. You recognize this sword? Do I recognize it? Of course I do. I made this with my own hands. Here's my brand, see? The dwarf carefully takes the sword in his hands, gazing at it like a doting father. Oh, Yaniel. Things have been tough without you. But at least we've still got your sword. That's something. Jordan returns the sword to you. In battle, ordinary swords get blunted. They break. But sometimes, a weapon can preserve. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm no authority on these things. But something like an echo of the deeds done with that weapon. Or more like the reflection of the wielder's soul. I don't know. I will say one thing. Take care of that sword. Yaniel may no longer be with us. But the demons will still remember why they need to turn tail and run when they see radiance. Ach, the scabbard's all worn. We can't be having a fine sword like this being carried around in this tatty thing. I'll make you a new one if you like. The city stands strong and we both survive. Come see me again, and I'll have it ready. No charge. I have to go. Greg, watch over you. If you need something from me, don't be afraid to stop by. Alright, let's make our way out of here. Alright. The three areas we need to prioritize are the Market Square, Blackwing Library, and Silken Thread. No, not there. Tower of Estrad. These other locations only revealed by talking to the NPCs in the tavern. So, Airbeth revealed the Tierbade residence on the map. Horgus Gorm, of course, told us about Gorm's mansion. Topaz Solutions and Silken Thread Atelier was revealed by Anevia. And the Innkeeper told us about the Pataxian wine cellar. But we're going to go to the Thieflings hideout first for Wffs Quest. I don't know if you can still find these locations with a perception check. I assume that you can, but I've always spoken to the NPCs and they've always told me where they were, so. Alright, Thieflings hideout. Actually, let's read the description for this first. The Defender's Heart. The best inn in Canabas is a sturdy building surrounded by a stone wall. The Crusaders who survived the first wave of the invasion set up base here, turning the tavern into a small fortress able to withstand the attacks of demons and cultists wreaking havoc in the city. And Thieflings Hideout. A spacious, well-furnished cellar under the hardware store serves as a hideout for the Thieflings in Canabas. This is where the eldest sister, Charisme, appointed by the family, conducts the gang's affairs by planning robberies and sharing the loot between the gang members. Fallen Horse, we'll go to that later. Because we're in a bit of a hurry. No time to stop for loot.
Yet another obstacle. Did we find trouble?
The light
No,
take
they did.
you!
I'm not sure if I was a cultist and I saw a hippogriff traveling with, well, a party that already outnumbered my party. I wouldn't try to attack them. Call me a coward if you must, but it seems like a bad idea. Alright, Sister Charisme, Barnier, Daffy, Melrone, Dalna, Tabby. Or Tabby. The basement is dark and dank. You're immediately struck by the hostility of the gathered tieflings. 5 of them are kneeling along the wall, separate from the rest. The tall woman, been cleaning her fingernails with the tip of her knife, greets you with narrowed eyes. Brother Woljif, you got my message then. Sorry I couldn't swing by sooner, dear Sister Charisme. It was just one thing after another. First I was in shackles, next, well no, I was still in shackles. And I was being watched. Then the chief got me out. I came here straight away. I knew you'd been waiting on me. Enough talking, or else I'll be here all night. So, We had a clear plan. We're going to wait for nightfall, slip into the shop, grab the goods, and leave. Even if the neighbors called the guard, there was time to get away. But what happened? That witch, Erebeth, showed up almost right away. She knew we'd be there. Somebody betrayed us. I have a good idea who it was. What do you have to say to that? Make it quick. You think Woljif knows the name of the traitor? Prisme turns to you. He speaks. I thought Woljif only brought you so he'd have someone to hide behind if things went south. Yes, he knows the name of the traitor. Every gang that Brother Woljif has been a part of has very quickly come to an end. Their hideout location was passed to the guards, but the competitors found out where they could ambush them. Woljif is the only one who always comes out smelling of roses. If you think about it, you'll come to the same conclusion as us. I'd have said that meant that Woljif was cursed with finding friends among losers and screw-ups. But now that he's with us, it must mean the curse has been broken. That depends. He's indeed most fortunate to find himself in a party with me. On the other hand, he also ended up in a party with you. The burden of proof lies on the accuser. Woljif doesn't have to prove anything. In a single fluid motion, Prisme adjusts her grip on her knife, so that she is now holding it by the blade, as if preparing to throw it. Burden of proof. Are you a city guard or something? I don't know how it is with your lot, but in the family, the highest rank is always right. And here, that's me. Canabas is burning. Why are you squabbling here instead of fleeing the city? Prisme purses her lips. I'd be glad to leave, like the rest of my brothers and sisters. But in the family, there's nothing worse than betrayal. It's something we do not forgive. We don't forgive anyone who lets traitors off the hook either. If I don't find the rat, my superiors... Let's just say, I wish I was burning in Canabas. I want to keep living. I'm going to take a chance until I find out who is the traitor here. No one is leaving. Woljif, tell us your side of the story. What happened? What's there to tell? About a week ago, Sister Charisma got 6 of us together in this very basement. Me and those 5 over there, I mean. Woljif jerks his head toward the 5 thieflings kneeling by the wall. She rounds us up and she says we've got a score. Ancient Trees and Wonders. The one place nobody's ever been able to hit. The place that's guarded by a golem. But now, a powerful scroll that would knock out the golem just happened to come into our possession, along with the tip-off that the shop owner would be gone on a particular night. All 6 of us know a bit of magic, and we know that any enchanted junk will sell for a pretty penny, so we're in. And the most important thing was that none of us was to be hanging about the shop ahead of the job. No casing out the place, no calling attention to ourselves from either the golem or its master. This job was top secret. That's all true so far. Go on. We did everything right, with the locks and the golem. I picked the lock. I remember it clear as day. Sister Donna was on lookout. Brother Melrune had the scroll. Daffy, Tabby, and Varnir brought the sacks. We covered the windows and lit the torches. I remember scooping up rings and tossing them in a sack, and one right expensive one rolled away from me. I crawled under a table after it, and next thing I know, Erebeth was there. Everybody scampered, but I was still under the table. Not my finest moment. I was gonna wait it out, but then those blockheads were dragging me out by my tail and put me in shackles. They took all my rings off me, about 20,000 worth. And to add insult to injury, I never even found the last one. In the end, I got busted over nothing. So, they caught you, poor thing. Stripped you of your loot, and didn't even manage to stash anything. And you didn't even manage to stash anything. Charisma is pointedly polishing her knife. Where's the Moon of the Abyss, Brother Woljif? What is the Moon of the Abyss? It was an amulet. It used to sit on a little cushion in the window of Ancient Trees and Wonders. Sterling silver, sparkled like a star. Fine piece of work. On one side there was a half moon, you know, a crescent, a waning moon. And in the middle there was a dark crystal, like it was eclipsing the moon. Old man Philemon was so proud of that amulet. He used to say, I'll never sell it. It's a jewel of my collection. Woljif sighs unhappily. I used to go there to see what kinds of treasures there were in the world. There's nothing else to look at in Canabas. People used to claim it was a powerful thing, but who's to say? You ever stole a thing like that, you have the guards on you the second you try to fence it. Everybody knew that you were always hanging around ancient trees and wonders, drooling over the moon of the abyss. Did you think you could swipe it and all the commotion and keep it for yourself? Did you hope that we'd all be locked up and you'd get off scot-free with a fancy trinket to boot? Now don't take me for a mug, Woljif. I see right through you. Why would Irbeth arrest her own informant? Put the words right out of my mouth. It doesn't make any sense. If I was the rat, I'd have kissed her on the hand and been long gone by now. You know me, sister. I'm a cautious fella, not an idiot. Why would I go against the family? So the fish in the cellar can have a nice Woljif-sized dinner? The Moon of the Abyss is a pretty bauble, to be sure, but it's just an amulet. It ain't worth dying over. You knew Irbeth's people would protect you. You knew you could pin the moon going missing on them. Now you've come here with backup. You knew exactly what I was going to say to you. Only problem is, nobody's returned the amulet to Philemon. Are you giving Irbeth a cut? Is that it? Have you seen her? You think she'd take a cut of anything I offered her? She can't be bought. She's like 3 heralds of Iomedae all rolled into one. He speaks the truth. You'll find some knights who'll take bribes. I'm sorry to say. But Irbeth Tirabaid isn't one of them. Go on, Woljif. That's the whole sorry story. Woljif crosses his arms, looking affronted. Some family this turned out to be. It's just a name in the end. In a real family, people take each other at their word. They don't throw around accusations. I didn't take the Moon of the Abyss. What am I going to do with it? You can't sell it to no crusaders. It's a special item. You can't wear it. It'll get nicked. It's pretty to look at, sure, but it ain't that pretty. If it's that important to you, Sister Charisme, I'll find it. Now drag the traitor here by his horns, just so as you don't end up at the bottom of the cellar. But do you know what you're going to owe me for that? An apology. Right here in front of everyone. You're going to apologize loud and clear so everybody hears it. You'll say, sorry, Woljif. You're a good guy, and I was wrong about you. Fine. You're one of my people, which is why I'm going to give you some time. But if you run, Brother Woljif, the family will get you wherever you go. You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, tossing and turning at night, bringing poison in every cup and every meal. You look into the eyes of every tiefling you meet, wondering if the families come for you. You'll have no peace. But one day, you'll be tired of running. You'll stop to catch your breath, and that is when we will get you. Got that? You've got away with words, Sister Charisme. A way that almost made me wet myself, but a way, nonetheless. Now let's go, Chief. We'll go chat to that scary gal Irbeth. She knows you a little. We can ask her who ratted us out. I'll let you do the talking. We'll find the real traitor. And I'll get my apology. Onward to Irbeth, Chief. Let's go clear my good name. Root out the traitor, but be quick about it. Time's running out. I don't want to get chewed up by demons.
Follow if you dare.
So we got a Lockpicker's Kit. This Lockpicker's Kit grants its owner a +1 bonus on all trickery skill checks. Give that to Woljif. Let me talk to her again. Charisme drums her fingers nervously on the handle of her blade. Well, you're going to tell me who the traitor is? The name and the Moon of the Abyss that they stole. I don't need anything else. So we can give her a name right now. I know who it is. But I'm not going to do that yet. Take a good look at the suspects. The Thieflings watch you sullenly. They are a pretty diverse group. You have no idea if the person you're looking for is among them. Remind me, what are you accusing Woljif of? Charisme huffs in irritation. I'm accusing him of ratting us out to Irbeth, of stealing our loot, the Moon of the Abyss, an expensive amulet that could have fed us all for a year. That's enough to get him sent, to see his relatives on their farm. I need a little more time. If we go over towards this door, she'll get mad at us. Hey, if you value your life, Don't even look in this direction. Sorry, we can loot that later.
I'm off.
Well, let's head back to the Defender's Heart, speak to Erebeth, and then we can head towards Philemon's shop, or Ancientries and Wonders, which hasn't been revealed yet.
I do what I must.
Erebeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How is the city? There's a traitor I'm trying to track down. Who's your informant among the Thieflings? Erebeth arches her brows in surprise. Canabas is threatened by a demon horde. You have enough spare time to help out thieves. Erebeth sighs. I don't like this. I hope you know what you're doing. I'll tell you everything I know. I did not see my informant's face. He slipped out of a dark alley, handed me the note, and disappeared. Erebeth hesitates as she tries to remember. He had a cloak with a hood masking his face, but the long horns, didn't fit under it. There should be a guardian golem in Ancientries and Wonders, the shop they tried to rob. The owner gave us the construct's code word just in case. The golem itself was destroyed. The head seems to be intact, so we interrogate the thing and find out what it saw. The code word is Hand of Aurori. The shop's owner must have escaped, but there's a chance we get lucky with the golem. Alright, so we have a lead for next time. We'll head towards Ancientries and Wonders and speak with the golem and wrap up Wffs Quest. And recruit a new companion.
I'm gone.
But the companion is a little unorthodox. So I'm going to call it here, and next time we will go and finish Wffs Quest, and then proceed through the rest of Canabas. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.